Hey everybody, how you doing? Good morning to you from the Sunnyvale Reject, back in the house with another video for my friends and family on this early, still dark Sunday morning. I hope you're sleeping peacefully. And when you wake up, I'll have an awesome video queued up for you and ready to go. Because today we're going to take a look at my John Grisham book collection. That's right. Today I want to show you guys some beautiful books by John Grisham. Now, John Grisham was born in 1955 in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That makes him 70 years old. He was raised in South Haven, Mississippi, which is just south of Memphis, and then lives in Oxford now and is a big part of the MFA writing program. And he has the John Grisham Law Library there at Ole Miss. He is a two-time winner of the Harper Lee Award for Legal Fiction and the Library of Congress Creative Achievement Award, among others. He has now written, as of March of 2025, 51 consecutive bestsellers. My gosh. And he starts a book every January the 1st. The books that influenced John Grisham, according to the man himself, are John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath. And if I'm not mistaken, The Little Drummer Girl, I'm not sure who that's by. In fact, when he mentioned it, it was the first time I ever heard about it. But he made a point about saying in Mississippi there's a law that states that you have to read Faulkner. But he had a super cool English teacher that gave them some other, options. And one of them was John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath, a beautifully written, important, sad book. But it inspired him. Hey, without The Grapes of Wrath, there would be no Johnny Grish. No Mr. Johnny Grisham. He also wrote a nonfiction book too called Frame, which is true accounts of folks that were imprisoned unlawfully. And he's part of the Innocence Project. He's on the board there. So just some random but yet important facts about the man himself, John Grisham. And there are some great interviews with him and Charlie Rose. Him and Stephen King toured together and put on shows, and they're absolutely fabulous because Stephen King is outgoing, and I don't know if John Grisham is an introvert or what, but he's kind of quiet and sarcastic, and Stephen King is all over the place. So if you like those two dudes, check out those videos. You're going to love them. Okay, well, I got a lot of books here to show you, and we're going to work we're going to work our way from the oldest to from the most recent to the oldest, to the first book that he wrote. So we're going to do it backwards, right? And forgive me if one or two are out of place, because really I just wanted to show you some beautiful books and maybe ignite your, ignite your lust, your love, your hunger for legal thrillers if you've never read one. So here we go. Let me take a sip of my water and we'll get started. First book I want to show you guys is Camino Ghosts. John Grisham, Camino Ghosts. And the Camino is a series of, I think, 4 or 5 books at this point. This is embossed. This is matte. It's a really nice looking book. You've probably seen it. Bookstores, airports. What's it about? The true story is about Dark Isle, a sliver of a barrier island not far off the North Florida coast. It was settled by freed slaves 300 years ago, and their descendants lived there until 1955, when the last one was forced to leave. That last descendant is Lovely Jackson, elderly now, who loves her birthplace and its remarkable history. In the pursuit of time management, I'll just tell you what it's about. They think the island may be cursed, and the developers are having all kinds of problems. Is it cursed? Read the book and find out. All right. This is the sequel to The Firm. It is called The Exchange. Look how pretty. The Exchange. Something like 23 years after The Firm, something like that, maybe longer. But it's a good looking book. And John Grisham said, I never wrote a book about this place or that place because I never went there. But the exchange takes place in Rome and Istanbul and a couple other places that he actually went to, so he writes with good authority. on those locales. Same with Mississippi. John Grisham said he's of the mindset that you got to write what you know. Especially if you're lying in fiction, you better write what you know. But this is John Grisham's The Exchange, Part 2, to the firm. What else we got here? This may be out of place, but look at this little gem. It's called The Bleachers. The Bleachers. Oh yeah, and most of these are going to be first editions. Like this one. Most of these are first edition, first prints. Some are not. But The Bleachers. Long story short, a football team, a football coach in a small, let me see, Mississippi town? It doesn't really say. But a high school All-American, Neely Crenshaw, was probably the best quarterback ever to play for the legendary Messina Spartans. 15 years have gone by since those glory days, and Neely has come home to Messina to bury Coach Eddie Rake, the man who molded the Spartans into an unbeatable football dynasty. Okay, for anybody out there who's not played sports, you guys who've played sports know exactly what I'm talking about. Coaches are not there to be your friend. They're not your father. They're not your uncle. They're there to instill drive in you and light that fire under your ass. So as these guys are getting ready to bury their coach, they're sitting on the bleachers, you know, recounting memories. That's it. Some good, some not so good. And an image of this coach begins to take shape. But this is a nice, crisp little copy, first edition hardback, and it is 183 pages. Come on, get you some. The Bleachers. What else we got? Look at this beauty. The Guardians. Look at that. That's a good looking book. Come on. The Guardians. We'll take a look-see here. Pretty sure it's our first edition too. It is The Guardians. In the small Florida town of Seabrook, a young lawyer named Keith Russo was shot dead at his desk as he worked late one night. The killer left no clues. There were no witnesses, no one with a motive, but the police soon came to suspect Quincy Miller, a young black man who was once a client of Russo's. Quincy was tried, convicted, and sent to prison for life. For 22 years, he has languished in prison, maintaining his innocence. And the book is about a special group of lawyers that work on getting innocent people released from prison. You know, that's a terrible situation to be in, and you have to know that it happens probably regularly, you know. We got to do a better job, man. Okay, what's this? I think we got this one first. A Time for Mercy. John Grisham's A Time for Mercy. Another stunning cover. We got to talk about covers. It's what grabs your attention. I was looking behind me, and every single one of those books, I looked at the cover first. And to tell you the truth, if I don't like the cover of something, I won't collect it. I have to like the way it looks. After I read the story, you know, if it's a first edition, you know, rare book, vintage, I'll keep it. You know, I'll keep it on the shelf. But if it's not a first edition, it's not rare, and I don't like the cover, after I read it, I find somebody to give it to. Incidentally, I mentioned this primarily in passing, but I just bought Stephen King's The Cell for a student in my second period. And in my third period, I bought Crime and Punishment for a student. I was just stunned when she said she wanted to read it. And I, of course, you know, got the book immediately for her, and I cannot wait to see what she thinks. This is John Grisham's A Time for Mercy. Clanton, Mississippi. He does have some international legal thrillers. You know, Exchange is one. Pure international thriller. But his regions of preference seem to be Mississippi and Florida. And that's probably because, like Stephen King, he spends a lot of time there, you know. Clanton, Mississippi, 1990. Jake Bergantz finds himself embroiled in a deeply divisive trial when the court appoints him attorney for Drew Gamble, a timid 16-year-old boy accused of murdering a local deputy. Many in Clanton want a swift trial and the death penalty, but Brigance digs in and discovers that there is more to the story than meets the eye. Jake's fierce commitment to saving Drew from the gas chamber puts his career, his financial security, and the safety of his family on the line. To be a great attorney, a defense attorney, you have to be a seeker of the truth with a capital T. But I just can't stop looking at it. It's a beautiful cover. It really is. Totally different than the way John Grisham's books started out looking. All right? All right. You ever heard about Sycamore Row? Sycamore Row? I can already see a damn sticker on the back of this thing. Yep. Sycamore Row. Good looking. I'm not too fond of these colors. Yeah, I'm not too fond of this cover at all. No, there's nothing special here. I really don't like the color scheme. I don't know what it is about it, but yeah, I do. Just kind of dull, drab colors. And then damn stickers. All right. But let's get down to business. What's it about? John Grisham takes you back to where it all began. John Grisham's A Time to Kill is one of the most popular novels of our time. Now we return to that famous courthouse in Clanton as Jake Brigance once again finds himself embroiled in a fiercely controversial trial, a trial that will expose old racial tensions and force Ford County to confront its tortured history. It's Sycamore Row. Let's see, is it a first edition? Probably. It surely is. You know, but that don't mean much. All right, let's make some room here. I've heard good things about this one here. Damn stupid sticker. But the King of Torts. What the hell is a tort? Sounds like some sort of, like a tart, like a pastry or something. But the King of Torts, for all you guys who are up on law jargon, let me know what it means in the comments. I have not read this one. In fact, I just got it the other day because some reviewers said it was just as fast-paced as some of his earlier novels, where some of his later novels took on a political, philosophical bent that kind of, I don't know. Some of them were kind of hard to get through because they weren't as action-packed. They didn't have as high conflict as some of his other books, but I've heard good things about this one, and the cover's it's kind of cool. Not much going on the back. The King of Torts. The Office of the Public Defender is not known as a training ground for bright young litigators. Clay Carter has been there too long and, like most of his colleagues, dreams of a better job in a real firm. When he reluctantly takes the case of a young man charged with a random street killing, he assumes it is just another of the many senseless murders that hit D.C. every week. But as he digs into the background of his client, Clay stumbles upon a conspiracy too horrible to believe. The only conspiracy is that there are none, because they damn sure exist. And if you watch the news, you'll see them unfold on a daily basis. Keep your eyes open, folks. Wake up, truly wake up, and pull the wool from around your eyes and off your head and see the truth. There you go. All right. Moving right along, me and Lucia, my wife, are going to buddy read this book this Christmas. It's called Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. You guys probably know, if you haven't read the book, you probably know of the book by way of the Cranks. What was it? Was it Christmas with the Cranks? What the hell was the name of that? Does it say in here? The Cranks. The hell was the name of that movie, y'all? I can't remember. I cannot remember, but it was so fun. I loved it. It's Skipping Christmas, and it's a short little novel. It's oh, come on. It's like 170 something pages. You'll get through it in a day, sitting on your couch by the fireplace or reading by the pool or on the beach. It's a wonderful little crisp read. 177 pages, and they just flow. They just flow. And all these characters are sweet and endearing and memorable. This book did well for Grisham and, of course, spawned the movie. And that's another way that people found John Grisham's books, pardon me. He said that people would walk up to him and say, "Hey man, I love your movies, but I've never read your books." And he said he always says, "Thank you." That's right. When it comes to selling a book to a movie, take the money and run and hope they never make the movie, really. But it's skipping Christmas. Yeah, I like this. Imagine a year without Christmas. No crowded malls, no corny office parties, no fruitcakes, no unwanted presents. That's just what Luther and Nora Crank have in mind when they decide that just this once they'll skip the holiday altogether. Theirs will be the only house on Hemlock Street without a rooftop frosty. They won't be hosting their annual Christmas Eve bash. They aren't even going to have a tree. They won't need one because come December the 25th, they're setting sail on a Caribbean cruise. Very well written description. I know this is a first edition. This is embossed. This is embossed. This is matte. Simple. And of course, it's a first edition. Probably doesn't matter to anybody but me and you guys out there who know and love books and cherish them as much as I do. Let me take a sip of my water. Love yourself. Be good to yourself. And be an advocate for yourself, because the world doesn't even know you exist and they will give up on you. I promise you, in your struggle to be somebody, to do something major, to leave some important legacy behind, those people that you think will be there to pat you on the back, man, they just won't be, and for all kinds of reasons. So be there for yourself. Be your own best friend. God loves you. I love you. Your family loves you. You are loved and appreciated. Know that. Okay, where to go from here? How about this one? This beautiful copy. Solid, chunky copy of The Rainmaker. Ooh, look at that. I'm enthralled. I just noticed this about his earlier books. The background, you'll see what I mean. But this is marble, obviously, right? Look at that handsome dude. He looks like a country singer. The Rainmaker. In his first courtroom thriller since A Time to Kill, John Grisham tells the story of a young man barely out of law school who finds himself taking on one of the most powerful, corrupt, and ruthless companies in America and exposing a complex, multi-billion-dollar insurance scam. Don't get me started on insurance. In his final semester of law school, Rudy Baylor is required to provide free legal advice to a group of senior citizens, and it is there that he meets his first clients, Dot and Buddy Black. Their son, Donnie Ray, is dying of leukemia, and their insurance company has flatly refused to pay. All too familiar scenario. Let me say one thing real quick about insurance. We pay we pay our premium every month for years and years and years. And we're even scared to use our car insurance when we have a wreck because we know it's going to go up. And they raise it just because they can. But we pay for all these years. And then when we do have an accident, God bless all y'all. I hope nothing happens to y'all. I hope your family's happy, safe, and secure and all that good stuff. But when an accident does happen, we still got to pay that damn deductible. $500 and something, man. That's crazy to me. We need insurance reform in this country. We really do. And when we pay insurance, those companies damn well better take care of us. And if they don't, leave their ass. Leave them. Don't continue to pay or be around or even treat people with respect who don't respect you or care about you. Once you realize that about a person, get the hell away from them. The Rainmaker, Johnny Grish. All right. Let me make some more room. Okay. Oh yeah, I got this the other day. You're not going to believe this, but a Pango seller had this book listed for 75 cents and I had it in my cart. See, that's what's awesome about Pango. They're independent sellers, man. The book you see in the pictures, it's the book you get. And you can ask for more pictures, you can ask for discounts, those kind of things. But Pango is amazing and they have some wonderful sellers. I'm not joking. The dude that sold me this book, it was 75 cents and they gave me a discount. And so it was 60 cents and $4.99 for shipping. So I don't know what that adds up to, something. They're in West Palm Beach also, so the book got here the day after I ordered it, and I'm happy to have it. It's John Grisham's The Chamber. And this is the first edition copy. This is the book club edition. Hey, I'm looking for somebody to buddy read this too. So if you want to do a buddy read with me on The Chamber somewhere, in the next coming months, I'll give you this copy. It's crisp. It's clean. It's got the man on the back. Come on. All right, but here's the first edition. The Chamber. As in the gas chamber. That's a good photo. Brooding. Moody. Okay. All right. The FBI recorded almost 400 bombings in Mississippi from 1964 to 1968, virtually all related to the civil rights movement and almost all involving black churches or black homes. Absolutely unacceptable, terrible. They called Birmingham Bombingham. In 1967 in Greenville, Mississippi, which is where my mom and dad are from, a known Klan member, Sam Cahill, is accused of bombing the law offices of Jewish civil rights activist Marvin Kramer, killing Kramer's two sons. Cahill's first trial with an all-white jury and a Klan rally outside the courthouse ends in a hung jury. The retrial 6 months later has the same outcome. 12 years later, an ambitious district attorney in Greenville reopens the case. Much has changed since 1967, and this time with a jury of 8 whites and 4 blacks. Cahill is convicted. He is transferred to the state penitentiary at Parchman, that's the real prison there, Parchman, to await execution on death row. Let me make sure this is the first edition. $2.75. It sure is. Flip it around here. So you're seeing some good looking, solid, clean John Grisham books, primarily first edition. I'm proud of this collection. I'm proud of my Stephen King and Michael Crichton and John Saul and Dean Koontz and R.L. Stine. I love my books. The other day, I don't know if I told you guys this, and I hope you don't mind me having an aside here, but I missed the first 3 days of last week because I simply did not think I could do it anymore. It is the hardest job I have ever had in my life because there's so much on the line. I'm a teacher, for those of you who don't know, I work with kids, and I just couldn't handle it. So I stayed home, and I just was surrounded by my books, and I'm always reading 2 or 3 books at a time. I'm reading Carrie, Disclosure. I just finished The Long Walk, and I love them. They put me at peace, and I'm a dreamer. I've got 2 books out, Blame Forest and Laughing is Forever, both award winners, and I hope to write a 3rd and a 4th book, and so I surround myself with books as a constant reminder of the fact that I can do it. I can do it. It can be done. It will be done. And who knows, you might have a book in you too, and you better write it before somebody else does. Yes, shut up, I know. The Client. Getting into some of these early books. The Client, look at that. This is all embossed. This is not. John Grisham. Look at him. Come on. This is the picture that Stephen King talks about when they, they're on stage together and they're telling stories. And it's great. They have a great dynamic. And so does Lee Child and Stephen King. Stephen King seems like a graceful feller, doesn't he? Just really cool. He's been there, done that. He's highly successful, and he likes to help other people out, man. They had an editor in common way back in the day. All right, so let's see if this is the first edition. It damn sure is. All right, so let's see what it's about. Okay. All right. In the 2 years since the firm first captured the imagination of America's readers, John Grisham, with 3 consecutive #1 bestsellers, has become one of the most popular authors of our time. Now, in The Client, he has written a novel so irresistible, so thoroughly entertaining and satisfying that it is sure not only to please his millions of fans, but to win him a new one as well. Millions, probably. This is the story of 11-year-old Mark Sway, who, as the novel opens, witnesses the bizarre suicide of a New Orleans attorney. Just before he dies, the lawyer tells Mark a deadly secret concerning the recent murder of a Louisiana senator whose accused killer, mafia thug Barry Moldano, is about to go to trial. People try to tell me secrets at work all the time, and I say, no, thank you. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to be burdened with your secret. All right, so that is John Grisham's The Client. This is a nice copy, and I cannot wait to dig into these books. I'm really enjoying Michael Crichton right now, pardon me, because they are super, super fast-paced, enlightening. There's just the right amount of tech talk. And I imagine, for the most part, John Grisham, too, it's a healthy balance of legal talk and regional dialects and slang, that kind of thing. But they're evenly... I don't know how you say that. The language is evenly written. Does that make sense? I don't know. Because too much details, for example, like a Dickens, how many freckles they have, how much hair they have on their head, what kind of shoes they're wearing, what color their jacket, everything about a character in Dickens. And sometimes people get bogged down in that detail. The same is true for science fiction and legal thrillers and stuff like that. They get bogged down in the jargon. But John Grisham has mass appeal, so... I didn't experience that with his book, so I'm guessing, easy reads with just enough corporate talk to make you feel informed. Whew, sorry. The Pelican Brief. The Pelican Brief. I wish I could edit that last part out, but I'm going to do like Brian Durfee and say I'll edit it out. I'm sorry about all my mistakes in this video. I'll edit them out. How's that? And then I won't do it. It'll just be funny bloopers that I kept in. But I really do appreciate you guys, and I mean it when I say I'm grateful to be a part of this community. I really am. You guys have accepted me. I love you. I pray for you. I enjoy spending time with you and talking with you, and I love to read your comments. Please do like and subscribe and tell your friends. And don't be shy. If you reach out, I'll respond. The Pelican Brief. Great movie. Come on. Was it not a great movie, you guys? And this is when he was on a power trip. He could not be stopped. I mean, he just could not be stopped. What is this? This was his third book? Is that right? The Pelican Brief. John Grisham's 1991 novel, The Firm, drew unprecedented praise from reviewers, booksellers, and readers across America, and it quickly became the top seller of the year. Now Grisham is back with The Pelican Brief, an irresistible story that begins with the simultaneous assassinations of two Supreme Court justices. Yeah. Not much going on with the cover. It can be kind of confusing until you realize there's a shadow. Oh, again, remember the marble, the background? You'll see it again in the next two books too, but a column and a shadow. But it kind of takes a second. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense at first. I mean... I don't know. What do you think? You tell me. What do you think about his tie? Oh, Johnny. Okay. All right, now, these last two books are the books you hear about the most concerning John Grisham, and the movies were amazing. Their legacy lives on and will probably live on into infamy. It's The Firm. Look at that. That little man. He's embossed. Here's his briefcase. He's just a puppet on some strings. The Firm, John Grisham. I don't think that this is a first... Look at that guy. He was very serious. Well, maybe I should tell you this when you see the next book. But this is The Firm. But John Grisham has so many interesting stories, and the way he got his start is very, very interesting and should boost your confidence if you're a writer. If you're writing a great book and you're struggling getting somebody to take notice, he says, trust in this. If you're writing great stuff, somebody will eventually find out. But if years and years go by and you kind of fly under the radar, maybe you're wasting your time. And as I've said before, sometimes you may have a story in your head, but it's not always your story to write, But if you feel like you got one in you, give it a shot. And don't stop until you got no choice. All right. L.A. Law meets The Godfather in the most gripping legal thriller of the year. Mitchell Y. McDear has worked hard to get where he is, third in his class at Harvard, aggressively recruited by all the top firms, and initially headed for Wall Street. Mitch surprises everyone by joining Bandini, Lambert, and Locke, a very private, very rich tax firm in Memphis. Mitch and his wife Abby move to Tennessee and quickly settle into their new life. They're young, happy, and on the fast track, or so they think. Soon, though, Mitch senses trouble. Two of the partners die in a suspicious diving accident off Grand Cayman. The firm's management is overly proud of the fact that no one has ever resigned, and security measures at the firm are, even for a company with billionaire clients, more than a little stringent. When people around me start to drop, I get gone. I'm that guy in the movie theater, for example. You'll be looking over, explaining something that happened, I'm already gone. My seat's cold already, I'm gone. I don't waste no time. I don't care what it is. It could be fireworks, because most people in shootings, they think they hear fireworks. That's that freeze part where they don't know what to do. I don't give a damn if it's fireworks or not. I'm out. Look at that. The Firm. Beautiful book. Yes, I don't know if it's a first edition. Well, but it's nice, though. No. It is a 45th printing. Damn. The Firm. Okay, one sip. Last sip. We've come down to the first book, the one that started it all. You've heard about it numerous times. It's a beautiful book, compelling, beautifully written. It's John Grisham's A Time to Kill. Look at this beautiful book. Again with the marble. In the column. Wow, what a beautiful book. This book would have never been written had he not wandered into the courtroom one day, and I can't remember if it was Oxford or Southaven, where he was also voted to the legislature there in Southaven. So, this guy's active in the community, specifically Little League. No, I don't want to say specifically. That narrows it down too much. Little League, the MFA department at Ole Miss in general, the law library, the what was it called? The Innocence Project. He's on the board there. This man is out and about trying to do God's work. John Grisham. But he witnessed something in a courtroom, and he took it home with him, and he started to write. And he said, I'm going to put a lot of myself in this, and a lot of what I know about the law, and a lot of what I just saw in the courtroom. And this book is the product of that. And he worked on it for about 2 years. And, originally he sent it out. He couldn't get anybody to pick it up. He thought it was never going to go anywhere. And then finally a small outfit, and I'm talking very small outfit in New York, not a major publisher, maybe even self-published or very, very small imprint. They printed up 5,000 hardback copies. John Grisham bought 1,000 copies of his own book, which is kind of smart. ICP, the independent, underground rap group, Insane Clown Posse, they did something similar, and now, they're worth $30-40 million a piece, Violent J and Shaggy. Not that they're on Grisham's level, but that's smart. I do the same thing. I'll order a bunch of copies of my books and just give them away. Spread the word. But he had a buddy that worked at a library, and they had a big coming out party. He had 1,000 copies. There's pictures of his kids climbing all over these copies of A Time to Kill. And when the party was over, he still had 882 copies of A Time to Kill. He said a lot of people showed up, but a lot of people didn't. And he took names for years. But, he kept up the good work. And one thing he did that was vital was after he had that first book release party at that library that was local, and it was a friend of his, he took the show on the road, and it took 35 libraries to get rid of 882 copies of A Time to Kill, and now those books they're valuable, they're worth a lot. And, it caused his career to really take off. Actually, the Pelican Brief and some of his other books, when they got famous and got popular and the movies were made, people went back and read the earlier books, But that diligence, that hard work, that I'm going to make it no matter what attitude, man, it's inspiring. It's awe-inspiring. All right, let me shut the hell up and show you this. I'm going to tell you what this book is about here. Near the rural town of Clanton, Mississippi, little Tanya Haley is brutally raped, beaten, and left for dead by 2 drunken and remorseless men. The rapists are almost immediately caught in a roadside bar where they have been bragging of their exploits. When the men appear in court days later, Tanya's father, Carl, bursts out of the courthouse basement and executes them with an assault rifle. Murder or execution, justice or revenge. Does it say anything else on the back of that? Carl trusts his life to only one man in town, local criminal lawyer Jake Brigance, who dreams of famous cases, headlines, and the big time. Jake is about to face the fight of his life, and he knows it. Damn, that's tragic. Nobody could really say what they would do in that situation, and murder's wrong. Murder is wrong, but hurting a child, man, there's no rules. If somebody hurts your kid, they deserve whatever they get. I'm on the side of the parent, whatever that means. John Grisham's A Time to Kill. Well, that's it. I have no more books to show you. I've enjoyed just spending time with you. I hope you liked these books. You've probably read some of them. And if not, pick one up. You'll love it. They're super fast-paced. If you like John Grisham, you know, if you like, not Stephen King too. His stories are fast-paced, and some might say writing about lawyers is horror. But definitely if you like John Grisham, if you like Dean Koontz, John Saul, Scott Turow, Michael Connolly, you know, John Grisham might be for you. Whew, deep breath. I love you guys. I'm shutting up. Have a wonderful day. Stay cool and never stop reading.